Wow. What a crazy, gruesome weekend. Let me tell you, what a terrible weekend here on crypto. We finally had the breakdown from Bitcoin. You see, so Bitcoin was in this channel over here. Remember this channel that was over here? We finally had the breakdown, and we knew it was going to go one way because Bitcoin was accumulating for about a month. And then we broke downwards. And that was after the CPI print, which we saw on Friday. And that sent crypto into a little bit of a tailspin. And now what we've got Ethereum coming down to some key levels. And I'm going to show you what's causing all of this. I'm going to show you what's causing this crypto market tumble. And then I'm going to show you one indicator that shows that we may, just maybe, we may be at the bottom. So I'm not saying we are at the bottom. I'm just going to show you one indicator, and then we can make a call together. Regardless of how it is starting to feel scary, and that may be a good thing. So let's do this. Yo. I know it's a weekend, but get up, let's do this. So good to see you guys again. Here I am in Texas, in my room. I'm still at the Hilton. The fucking worst hotel in the planet. If you've watched my Twitter, you know that I've been complaining about this hotel. Hilton Austin, worst hotel in the world. I'm here. I am going to leave tomorrow, flying back, getting back to the studio so I can bring you guys some crypto love and cryptoism from the studio. Tomorrow I will do a show before I travel. And then I'm going to get onto the plane, and then I'll probably do another show for you guys on Wednesday. And that's why I thought it's probably worth getting onto the stream today, because it's been one of the craziest weeks in crypto, and for the first time in a long time, I felt that peak fear feeling. I felt the capitulation feeling. We've had one big capitulation in crypto. We had Luna capitulate and wipe out $80 billion straight out of the crypto market, and now there's another one that's potentially happening, and we're going to talk about it. That is this one over here, which is Staked ETH, stETH. This whole market is going around, is now capitulating because of what's going on with stETH and ETH. So if you look at ETH is trading at $1,521. It was a massive drop. Look at the drop in ETH in the last couple of days. ETH was at 1,900 2-3 days ago. And if you look at where we are today, ETH is at $1,500. That's huge. And I'll show you why that's happening. So do me a favor. This is a weekend stream, an unscheduled weekend stream. So I need a big favor from you guys. Just smash the like button. Just comment and say, tell me where you guys are from. Give me some love. I'm here on the weekends. I don't need to be here. I can be walking around Texas. I've got a lot of shit to do. But I thought I'd come here and be with you guys and show you guys what's going on, because we're the Banter fam. We're in this together. Well, we're kind of in this together, but our friend Sheldon is on the golf course. I tried to get him to do charts. He's on the golf course. So it doesn't matter, because I got Craig and I got Jason, who are his team, who are going to help us with the charts. So we're going to have charts. I also invited Coach K, because he tweeted and said we're not near the bottom. I want to just have a look and see if he actually got my invite. Damn, he hasn't read the message. But you know what? He may read the message while we're on the stream, and Coach K may come back, may come and actually join us on the show. So listen, love you guys, Maddie. Let's get the show on the road. Let's talk about what's going on the markets. It is feeling very, 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 very scary. Very, very scary. I haven't seen ETH come down like this. And usually when you get big caps which are coming down like this, it does sound like capitulation. When I looked at the fear and greed yesterday, the fear and greed's on 14. But I think that's before the prices started to collapse yesterday. So I think what's going to happen is when they reset this fear and greed index, I think we're going to get to, again, to 10. Now, that's pretty exciting for me in a way, because it's encouraging. Because look at how long we've had fear near the bottom. And that's kind of uncanny. We don't often have situations where we have fear at the bottom for such a long period of time. And usually, as you know, when fear is at the bottom for a long period of time, what we usually do is we usually turn and we usually go up, and that's usually followed by a bull market. Let me quickly just go to the maximum. Look at that, look at the maximum. Look where that is. The crash of 2018 was the last time where we spent this much time clustered so close to the bottom. So this is one indicator which actually does show that, you know, we may actually be near a bottom, but that's not the indicator that I wanted to show you. That's not the indicator that I wanted to show you. Why I'm showing you fear and greed is because for people who have been here for a long time, I've been here for a long time, CZ, my friend, has been here for a long time. And he says the same thing. He says, during the last all-time high, new people were marveling at the OGs who got in early and held on, right? This is what it feels like the other half of the time. Your actions now determine what you feel like during the next all-time high. This is not financial advice. And that's exactly why it's important that we all do this together now, because what we do now will decide whether you're a tourist in the next bull market, or whether you're one of the guys that's like an OG who made the right moves, who didn't capitulate, who didn't get liquidated in the bear market. And so the moves now are the most important moves that we're making, and that's why we're making them together. I know Sheldon Tentino is going live. I've got some big news about Sheldon Tentino's show. He's going to be going live, I think, tomorrow. I wanted to get him on the show now, but he went. He's playing golf. I think the guy's playing golf. Oh, is he playing golf? Craig, he's playing golf, right? He's playing.
Sheldon's playing golf, so we've got the backup team here, bud.
Okay, amazing. So we will do some charts today. But let's quickly go and look at what happened and how this whole thing started. So the whole market capitulation actually started over here on Friday when the inflation numbers came out. And you can see that the inflation numbers came out way higher than we expected. Hold on, let me just try and find you the inflation numbers. There we go. That was the inflation numbers. Inflation numbers were expected at 8.3%. They were at they came out at 8.6%. Big disaster, huge disaster. The reason why is because the problem is that we now have high inflation and we have high employment, which basically gives the Fed the license to increase interest rates for longer periods of time and to slow down the economy for longer periods of time, to slow down this inflation. And they're going to slow down inflation. There's nothing you can do about it. Right now, as it stands, there's a 96.4% chance that they're going to increase inflation by 50 basis points in the June meeting. In the July meeting, 80% chance that they're going to increase by 50 basis points, 20% that they're going to increase by 75 basis points. This is where it gets interesting. In the September meeting, we all expected 25 basis points, but now that looks more like they're going to be increased by 50 basis points. And so the reason why that took down the traditional stock market. So if you look at traditional stock markets on Friday, let me get you some of the stock markets on Friday. It was an absolute bloodbath. Let me see. Let's look at the Nasdaq from Friday. That big red candle, this red candle over here, is Friday's red candle. Took the Nasdaq. This is the Dow. So it took the Dow Jones all the way down. Look at the S&P as well. All went down on Friday because of what happened. That started to take crypto down. But that's not the whole story for crypto. With crypto, there's another part of the story, and this is juicy. This is really, really, really juicy. And for the newbies here, and for people who are not as experienced, I'm going to start from the beginning. So there is a token called stETH, Lido Staked ETH. Okay, you see that? So here we go, Lido Staked ETH. And you can see that Lido Staked ETH is currently trading at $1,456, 1,456. Then you've got ETH, which is currently, let me quickly get you an ETH chart. There we go. ETH is trading at 1,514. So what you're noticing is that there's a token called stETH, which is Staked ETH, which is trading at 1,456. And ETH, which is trading at 1,514, which means there's a difference in price. So what is this Staked ETH token? Staked ETH is a token that is given to people who stake ETH on Lido. So this is Lido. Lido is a platform where you can stake your ETH, okay? So you stake your ETH, and when you stake your ETH, they take your ETH and they stake it in the Ethereum beacon chain as a validator, and you get a token in return, which is called stETH, which is 1-to-1 backed by Ethereum. So you give them one Ethereum, by going stake now, you give them one Ethereum. Here we go. You deposit one Ethereum and you get back one staked Ethereum. And that's almost like a token that you can show people to say, hey, look, I've got an ETH and it's staked. And theoretically, a staked ETH should be equal to more or less an ETH. Because once you stake ETH in the Ethereum beacon chain, you can't withdraw it until 2023 sometime when the beacon chain is live. So people stake their ETH, they get their return, and in return, they get this staked ETH token. Now, up until now, ETH and staked ETH have traded more or less at the same price. So one staked ETH is equal to one ETH, barring a very small thing, a very small premium. But now you're starting to see that staked ETH has lost its peg to ETH. You got to ask yourself, why is this happening? Why has staked ETH all of a sudden lost its peg to ETH? So I read this thread, which is a very, very good thread, which talks about what staked ETH is. It says, as quoted by Lido, staked ETH is backed by ETH on the beacon chain. So it is backed 1-to-1 for every ETH that is staked, one staked ETH gets minted. That's auditable on a smart contract. So you can't cheat that. For every ETH, for every staked ETH, there is one ETH that is locked up on the Ethereum chain. Now, why would staked ETH not equal the price of ETH? Well, firstly, people want liquid ETH. Secondly, the likelihood of the success of the delayed merge. And thirdly, smart contract risk. So the difference between the price of staked ETH and ETH represents how much people need liquidity, how much they believe that the launch of ETH 2.0 or the beacon chain will be delayed, and the smart contract risk that maybe the smart contract will get hacked. But there's another part to the story. And the other part of the story is around Celsius. So we all know and we all love Celsius. And as you can see, the Celsius token has gone from $3.47 in March to 41 cents. So here's what's going on. Here's what's going on. There are a lot of people who deposit their Ethereum into Celsius and take loans against their ETH. So what Celsius allows you to do is you can deposit your Ethereum into Celsius and you can take a loan against your Ethereum. So why do people do this? Because if you own Ethereum and you don't want to sell your Ethereum, but you need money to do stuff, you can give Celsius your Ethereum and they will give you a certain amount of cash that you can borrow. And when you repay the cash, you get your Ethereum back. Simple as that. What does Celsius do with the money? Well, Celsius stake the Ethereum. And what do they get back? They get staked ETH. So you give your Ethereum to Celsius. They take some of those Ethereum and they stake them on Lido or something similar. And they get stETH. And they hold that stETH. And because stETH has been equal to ETH, if ever you want your ETH back, they just sell the stETH and get ETH. Okay, so it's a pretty simple calculation. Celsius take your ETH, loan you USD, or just give you a yield. They take that ETH, they deposit it into Lido, and they get stETH, and then they sell the stETH and they get ETH whenever you want to withdraw. But now we have a problem, because now all of a sudden the peg between stETH and ETH is not the same. And in fact, if you look at Curve Finance over here, this is Curve, and you can see that one ETH is, so let's look at one ETH is equal to 0.96 staked ETH, which means that there's about a 4% differential between ETH and staked ETH, which means that if you want one ETH from Celsius, they've got to sell, so let's say if Celsius need one ETH, they've got to sell 1.037 staked ETH to repay you. And so for as long as people are running on Celsius and they want the ETH back, Celsius is losing 4% every time they do this. Now that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but if you've got 250,000 ETH staked, which is millions and millions of dollars, that could quite quickly cost Celsius a whole lot of money. And so what we're seeing now is we're seeing a run on stETH. So what it says here is Celsius has tons of stETH holdings. Users asking for redemption, Celsius can't honor them. So what do? They start selling stETH, and that brings the price of stETH down. Who's buying the stETH? Haha, haha, haha. Our friends at Alameda Research. So Mashinsky is dealing with the devil at Alameda. Victims, so how it works, Celsius sells stETH at a discount to SBF in peak fear. SBF, now what? So what's happening is Celsius need ETH, or they need US dollars to pay the community back every time there's a withdrawal. So what happens is Celsius sell stETH to the market maker, the buyer, which is Alameda. Alameda hold the stETH because they know that eventually they're going to get it, and they short ETH to be neutral. So they buy stETH from Celsius, and in order to be risk neutral, they hold the stETH and short one Ethereum. So they're short one Ethereum and they're holding one stETH. And the result of that is bringing down the price of ETH, which is why we saw ETH crashing like that, because every time they buy stETH, they do that. And so what we're seeing now is we're seeing Mashinsky or Celsius. This is what we think. Now, I try to get Alex Mashinsky on the show again today. I texted him. I'm just checking my text now to see. No, he hasn't responded. I did ask him to come on the show. He did read it, but he hasn't come on the show. I do believe that everything's good there, just for the record. So now, Alameda shorts ETH and holds stETH because they're going to hold it until they can eventually cash it out. And so the problem is that Celsius have got a problem. Either they're going to sell this stETH at a discount to SBF, or SBF just going to short stETH, destroy the peg of stETH, and then there's going to be an even bigger problem. Now, a lot of people are seeing this and they're going, uh-oh, here comes Luna Terra again. It's not the same. It's actually very, very different. Because Luna Terra was backed by nothing. But stETH is actually backed 1-to-1 by Ethereum. No one can dispute that. That's on the smart contract, and it is what it is. So if you want a good trade, a very good trade actually in my opinion, if you want to hold your Ethereum for another year or 2 years, then you buy stETH and you sell your ETH. And then that means you're buying the same number of ETH at say 5% cheaper or 4% cheaper if you want to do that. Eventually it will get its peg when the beacon chain launches. So and right now there is panic going on there. So it depends how much risk you want to take and whether you actually hold Ethereum. But if you do, then you may want to be doing it. So let's just read some more stuff that's going on here. You can see that if you look at the pool on Curve Finance, you can see there's actually mainly stETH here. That's not good. What you want it to be an equal balance of stETH and ETH. And what you can see is that people are selling their stETH and they're buying ETH. Okay, that's what's happening here. So where is the bottom indicator? Where do I think that there is a bottom indicator? So because there's peak panic. I don't know if you guys saw, but Solana, I mean, let's quickly look at the Solana price. I was looking at this yesterday. I was shocked. I couldn't believe Solana was, I think, under $30 at one point. Let's quickly just find a Solana Sol. Let's find a USDT pair somewhere. So Sol USDT on Binance. Binance is probably a good one. Let's quickly look at, here we go. So yesterday it was, okay, 31 on Binance. You had Solana at $31. You had Avalanche. Avalanche, I think, is under $12. Let's quickly have a look at that. AVX USDT. Here we go. It is. It's still under $20. It actually touched $17. We haven't seen a meltdown like this in altcoins for a long time. And that's why I think that it does feel like a slight overreaction. It does feel like a slight overreaction. Now, let me show you. I may be clutching at straws, but here's where I think we may be getting to a bottom. So there is a theory that says that the bottom is when you touch the top from the previous cycle, right? So if you get to a point where you touch the top of the previous cycle, that is usually the bottom for this cycle. That's one of the theories. Now I want to show you something. So if I look at the price of ETH, price of ETH right now is, now it's 1515, but it was at 1420. That was the price of ETH. Now what I want to do is I want to take you back to 2017. I want to take you back to, let me find a weekly chart here. Let me find a weekly chart for you guys here. And let me just, oh man, it's not reading these screens, but okay, let's try and see if we can do that. There we go. Okay, so now let us go back to the 2017 top. And it is uncanny because here is the 2017 top, as you can see, right over here. And here is the Ethereum bottom, which means that we are now trading, or we traded exactly at the top of 2017. That is the equivalent of Bitcoin getting down to $20,000. That is the equivalent of Bitcoin getting down to $20,000. And if we look at the dominance is now creeping up. And I guess the last point of resistance that the dominance needs to break is this over here. If it does do that, then I think something's going to happen. And to help us digest all of that, I wanted to get Sheldino Tentino on. I've got some good news for you guys about Sheldino Tentino and potentially a new NFT drop. Don't tell anyone yet. But I'm going to bring on his team. I'm going to bring on Jay. Jay, how's it, man?
How's it, Ran?
Can you share a screen?
Absolutely.
So these are the people that make all the magic in the back of Sheldon's. You guys all see Sheldon, but Sheldon's actually a team of people working in the back end. And so I want to show you. I want you guys to show us what you guys are seeing in the chart. Also, tell me what you think of my theory that ETH may be nearing a bottom because we're now touching the top of the last cycle.
So Ran, personally, that chart is clear as day. I mean, we have definitely hit the top of 2018. Sadly, I don't think we're directed by Ethereum in this whole market. We are still directed by Bitcoin. So for now, it's a nice chart to look at. However, I don't think, not saying it's the bottom, not saying anything because we've got to wait for the charts to play out. And I think what's important, just looking at the comments in the side, a lot of salty people coming out now that the market's really dumping. So we've always got to try and just give a very fair and objective assessment because that's what we do. I mean, we're looking at the charts every day and we really do study them every day. And we've got to look at both the upside and the downside potential. The bounces or not, but very clearly we're in a down market. But there's a little bit of hopium on the upside for the beginning part of the week. So let's see. But then we've got, again, interest rate decisions. So, Jay,
that's the other thing. That's the other thing that we've got this week. We've got the interest rate decision. Now, there's no doubt that the interest rate decision is a 50 basis point interest rate hike. The only question is what Powell says afterwards. And I think given the fact that we had inflation so high, Powell's going to come out guns fucking blazing afterwards. We will be live. We will be live when Powell speaks. So rest assured, we're going to be with you guys. We're going to be with you guys the whole time. Rain or shine, bull market, bear market, we are here with you guys. I know that there have been a lot of other YouTubers that are not broadcasting anymore or broadcasting less. We're here. We're here every single day. We're here every single day. Even Sundays. Look, here we are on a Sunday. I could be walking around Texas, but here I am bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom. And Sheldon's team, 8 p.m. where they are now. And they are bringing us love. So without further ado, Jay, tell me what the charts are showing you here.
Tell me you can see my Bitcoin chart there, Ran?
We can. We can see your Bitcoin chart with the beautiful triangle and the 2 yellow lines.
Awesome. So I've got this pennant formation that's been in play where we've got a support line that's touched here in September 2021, January this year, May this year. And I've also got a resistance line that is touched here in April this year and again in May this year and once again last week. Now, you can see that we are coming to the end of this sort of falling wedge pennant formation. And we are literally, this date is the 10th of July. We are literally, I would say, 2 weeks away from a decision. What is Bitcoin going to do in this falling wedge? Now, falling wedge in traders' terms is either a 68% chance to the break to the upside. So it is, because it's falling, it is a bullish falling wedge. But we also have to bear in mind that there is a 32% chance of a break to the downside. So we have to keep that in mind. But what I would like to do is have a look at 2 different charts here, the Bitcoin chart, but also the total market cap chart for clues as where we could be bottoming out. So
Great.
I'm going to go back here and have a look at the run-up that we had here in December 2020 and focus on this area here around about 24,000. And the reason why I'm focusing here is that we went through here in the end of December 2020, but we did not come back down, hit resistance here, come down and retest and go back up again. So there's a whole lot of liquidity here in this area here that needs to be captured. Plus, you can see here, we spent a bit of time here, about almost a week here in this area here. So the 24K is a very strong resistance point. So I think coming down, that could be possibly an area of strong support. Remember, when you do an SR flip from support into resistance, where you got a strong previous resistance, now becomes a strong support. Now, I want to go and have a look at the total market cap where we are currently sitting. And I'm going to go focus also on the daily here. And you can see we're sitting at 1.1 trillion. And
so scary. I mean, we're less than $200 billion away from not even being a $1 trillion asset class.
Absolutely.
That's scary shit.
Absolutely. I want to go back here once again to December 2020 and just have a look.
Because it's very hard for us to see the chart. Maybe just click on auto so we can just see the whole chart relative to what you're talking about.
Auto is
from my side.
right there. Can you see it now?
Yeah, now we can see it.
Awesome. So this 1 trillion level was previously in January 21 for almost a month to the 1st of February 21 was strong resistance. And you can see right now, we are coming now close to that 1 trillion mark. We are literally, if we measure it, we are literally 5% away. Okay, so 5% away there. I also want to show you while we're on this chart here, we got a orange support line here that goes back to March 2020 when we had that COVID drop. It touched again in September 2020 and it intersects this 1 trillion level. You can call it intersects at 1 trillion level. So yes. I'm saying that this move down, another 5% down, could possibly be the strong support area where we are going to see a bounce because it coincides with what Bitcoin is going to do, pretty much come down where it is right now by, okay, so that's sort of 13% down, and a 13% down from where we are will bring us down to this orange line here, more or less. Okay. So I think we are very, very close to where we are now. Now, if you allow me to show something else here, Ran, and I want to focus on May to July last year, where we pretty much
just click that auto button so we can see it. There we go.
Okay, so from May to July last year, we were acting in a range. And you can see we had a slow bleed down to the 21st of July. We captured liquidity there and we had a big bounce there.
I remember that.
If we go and have a look where we are now, we have been in a range.
Oh, wow. It's like a fractal, basically. The two fractals look exactly the same.
We have been in a range now since the 11th of May. And now we got a bit of a slow bleed down. Now, if we go and look at the Wall Street cheat sheet, what does it tell us?
Oh, my God. Wow, look at that.
It tells us that in November last year, we had a peak where we went to 3 trillion, euphoria. We came down. We had that end of the year rally up to the end of December into complacency. And we've come down. We've come into the lunar crisis. That was the anger. And now we're in the slow bleed down to depression. And then what happens after depression? We go back up to disbelief, and then we start the cycle all over again.
Oh, wow.
So
we're getting pretty much to the end of it. But Jay, this that we're seeing out here, I mean, is what we're seeing possibly over the next week. There is some possible short-term Hopium, in the first part of the week, eh?
Yeah, so if we go and have a look at the S&P, and my S&P chart is actually very, very busy. It's quite messy. And the reason why it's quite messy is because I actually use it as a leading indicator to chart what Bitcoin's going to do next. And all these red lines are resistance lines, and the green is major support. So let me zoom out here quickly and just have a look on a broader spectrum. So we've been in a downtrend since January this year, and we've been in this mega sort of megaphone pattern all the way down. And we are really on very strong support here. If we can have a look here, on the way up here in October 2020, we spent quite a bit of time here from September 2020 to November 2020 in this area here. And you can see it was previous resistance, which is, February this year, last year, which was very strong resistance, which is now going to be very strong support. But if we go into smaller time frames and we have a look what's happened here on Friday, is that, let me just open it up a bit, go into auto. So this is Thursday's candle. And on Friday, we opened up with a massive gap that needs to be filled at some stage. So there's a massive gap here that needs to be filled. So I think
the stock market doesn't like gaps, and it likes to fill them quite a lot quicker than what Bitcoin likes to fill. So that gap is glaring at us in the first part of the week, Ran.
That gap is glaring
because I think that the CPI, the inflation decision is, I think, Wednesday. So that's super interesting what you're saying. What you're saying there is super, super interesting.
So we could
very
come up,
short-term, fill the gap, which is the small Hopium.
Come down, find support again. That's a possibility.
Alrighty, so I think to summarize, you're saying we could be near a bottom if we look at the two fractals and play them out one next to the other. There could be some strength in the beginning of the week, but I think Wednesday is the telling day as to whether we're bouncing off support or whether we're going under support, right?
Absolutely.
And Ran, just coinciding, Joe, maybe you should just show that we've also got a CME gap for tomorrow also to the upside. So there's a gap to the upside. So these are little clues that there might be some short-term Hopium Monday, Tuesday. But as I say, Wednesday, we've got no idea what's going to happen on Wednesday. So, to me, be careful. If you're stuck in trades, watch for that Hopium. If that Hopium happens, look very carefully at putting in your stop losses. So that you can capture that capital to buy more coins or farm more coins if we drop lower. If your stop loss hits and the market goes up, you can always buy back in. You're losing nothing.
Exactly.
But secure the money while we can.
So we need a bounce. We want a bounce. We deserve a bounce. Guys, thank you. I know you guys are on a weekend, so thank you so much, legends. Stay tuned, guys, because I've got some cool announcements for you about a Banter NFT. So just stay tuned. Let's quickly just look at some other news in the news today. A lot of news around Luna, Terra, and Do Kwon. 2 bits of news. I've been digging 2 bits of news. The one bit of news is around Fat Man Terra strikes again. He says that Do Kwon withdrew $2.7 billion over the span of a few months using the DGen box. He gives that a whole breakdown over here. I see that story was picked up by Watcher News. Allegedly, Do Kwon allegedly cashed out $2.7 billion. You can go and have a look at that. Do Kwon obviously came out and denied that. So he's completely denied it. He says, this would be obvious, but the claims that I cashed out $2.7 billion is categorically false. I don't know. I still believe Do Kwon, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think that he took out $2.7 billion. I don't think he had bad intentions. But hey, if the on-chain data does prove it, and you can go and make your own decision as to whether it does or doesn't. I looked at it. I'm not convinced, but hey, everyone must make their decisions. But Do Kwon did lose one other thing. So I don't know if you remember that Do Kwon decided that he got subpoenaed when he walked onto stage, and he appealed the subpoena. He said, "Look, you gave me the subpoena in public, which the SEC is not allowed to do, and also I'm Korean. You can't subpoena a Korean." But he lost that appeal. So now he's lost that appeal. So it does feel like the world is crumbling down on Do Kwon's shoulders. All right, that's news. Is there any other news? Let's have a look here. Is there anything else? Any other news? I love this tweet from Elon. Really did. Love this tweet from Elon. He says, real talk. On guard, 8 years of zero interest rates. was buzzing, but inflation is mid, so we need to hike 75 basis points. I love this. It says, this is the tweet of the year for me. Millennials living through their third once-in-a-lifetime crisis within 5 years. I really do feel bad for millennials because they've had one after the other. Let's see. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk to you about? You see, damn. I wanted to show you something. I wanted to show you a trade that I'm taking on BYBIT, but I don't know if I can log in because I had to put a VPN on if I want to tell them I'm not American. A couple of announcements. So first of all, tomorrow I'm going to be 10xing someone's portfolio on BYBIT, and I'm going to be 10xing someone's portfolio on BitGet. So BitGet are our new sponsor. They sponsored us being here. There is a referral link which you can find below. I want to just show you something because a lot of you, hold on, I want to show you something because a lot of you don't believe me about the referral links. So I actually want to show you what a referral link looks like, but then I want to show you, don't go anywhere because I've got a massive announcement for you guys today. Massive announcement. Trust me, it's going to be worth staying for. Link looks like, but then there we go. So if you want to know where the referral links are, this is where the referral links are. You've got a BYBIT link here before. You click on the BYBIT link, you get $4,200, up to $4,200 in trading bonuses. Click on the Binance. If you don't already have a Binance account, you get $600 absolutely free. BitGet, we're going to be 10xing a portfolio, and you're going to get a sign-up bonus of $5,000. Now, listen up and listen carefully. I'm going to make a huge announcement on Sheldon's show when Sheldon is on the show this week. But we are releasing a free Banter NFT. I'm not going to tell you what the use case of the NFT is. I'm not telling you what the use case of the NFT is because I think that that's for Sheldon to tell you guys. All I'm telling you guys is that there is a Banter NFT that is going to be launched. It's going to be launched pretty soon. And that NFT is going to give you a whole lot of perks that are not going to be available to people that don't have the NFT. Okay, so you need to have the NFT. We're going to mint a couple of thousand NFTs first, and those will give you exclusive access to certain things. And I'm not telling you why, because that's for Sheldon to tell you guys. All I'm saying to you guys is that we're going to give the NFTs fairly to the community, and we're going to start off with the people that have supported us and opened accounts with our referral links. So if you haven't yet got an account in any of the exchanges with our referral link, do it because you're going to get the NFT. I'm not telling you that. I'm going to leave it for Sheldon to tell you on his show what the NFT is for, because that's the big surprise. I'm just telling you guys to be ready when it happens. Also, I think Sheldon is going live a couple of times this week. He's playing golf now, the life of a golfer, Sheldino Woods. Sheldino and his Tigers Woods. Okay, let's see. I'm not saying more. I can see Craig smiling in the background. I mustn't say more, hey, Craig? I mustn't say more, right? We must leave that to Sheldon.
Yeah, you're going to leave it up to Sheldon. I mean, it's like huge.
We're not going to say more.
It's a huge incentive.
We're not going to say more. We're not going to say more.
You're going to leave it up to him.
I was contemplating whether I should say more, and I thought, because we're launching the Banter NFT around something to do with Sheldon, I'd rather that Sheldon be the one to tell them.
100%.
Yeah. So, number one.
Exciting, guys. It's exciting.
It's very, very, very exciting. And trust me, you're going to kick yourself if you don't get the NFT. And the only way to get the NFT, you have to open an account with any of our referral links. The referral links are below on my show, on Sheldon's show, on everybody else's show. Just go and click them, open an account. And then I promise you when I tell you, and I'm not saying any more today, for fuck's sake, I'm not saying any more today, even though it's here at the tip of my tongue. I'm not saying any more today.
You love to let it out, Ray. You love to.
No, but you know what? You know what I did? I said, I want Sheldon to break the news. Because even though it's a Banter NFT and it's a family NFT, I think that is an NFT that Sheldon needs to announce to the world. Because it's actually, 100%. He was the one that inspired us to do it now. We were always going to do an NFT. And I mean, just to be clear, we're not like these other internet influencers that are going to charge you for the mint fee. We're doing it on Solana, and the mint fee is going to be free, zero. We're going to just drop it into the exchange account that you've signed up on. So, and if you've signed up 2 exchange accounts, you're going to get 2 NFTs. So there's going to be no mint fee. We're not making money out of it. We're not charging you guys for our NFTs. We're not doing shit like that. That's not us. There are people that have done it. We're not doing that. We're giving it absolutely free to the community. It's going to give you a whole lot of perks. The biggest perk, which is one that Sheldon's going to announce on his show, So get ready, Banter fam. I can see on Craig's face. You're also dying to announce it. I can see.
It's very exciting. Very exciting.
Very exciting. But we're not going to announce. We're going to leave it for Sheldon's show. People here saying USA can't use BYBIT. Yeah, I've been here in the USA and I have actually been using BYBIT. I just use a VPN as well. But you shouldn't do that. Because you're American. But you can use Mexi and you can use BitGet if you are in the US. You're allowed to legally. You are allowed to use Mexi, BitGet, Kucoin. So we've got choices for you guys. And very soon, tomorrow, Sheldon. Whenever Sheldon goes live again, he will announce it. And I promise you, you are going to go ballistic, insane. I see people that are saying yes, they made your bed. I'm saying again that the Hilton Hotel in Austin is the worst hotel in the world. If you're offered to stay in the Hilton Hotel in Austin or in a trucker's motel, stay in the trucker's motel. I mean, the most ridiculous hotel in the world. Have you ever been to a hotel where they charge you $7 to receive an Amazon package? Have you ever been to a hotel where if you order Amazon, I ordered vitamins. My vitamins cost me like $5. They arrived here, it cost me $7 for every package that they arrived in to get the vitamins. You ever heard of a hotel like that? Man, 1.5 hour lines to get in. No room service. There's no room service in this hotel. When you arrive in the room, there's no water. Nothing. Like a dog. I feel like I'm a dog here. They only clean your room if you request it, but they don't tell you this. They don't tell you this shit. So you come here, you go out the conference, you come back, your room's still dirty. You phone them like, hey guys, why didn't I clean my room? Oh no, you got to tell us. Huh? I didn't have a do not disturb sign up. I didn't have a do not disturb sign up on my door. Oh no, you got to tell us. Why didn't you guys tell me when I signed in? Why didn't you tell me when I signed in? Why didn't you say, hey sir, look, if you want to have your room clean, you just have to phone us and tell us. I would have phoned them, but they don't do that. No room service, no water in the room. You wake up in the middle of the night, you want water. There's no water in the minibar. The minibar is empty. Disaster. Oh, another one. Get this. And I tweeted about this. If you leave a T-shirt on the bed, they won't clean your bed because they don't touch your personal things. You ever been to a hotel like that? I travel a lot. I've never seen a piece of shit hotel like that, and it's sad because I really like Hilton hotels, and I'll never stay in a Hilton hotel after this. And the worst thing is the manager came here and he tried to justify it to me. He tried to justify this shit to me. Another thing, they don't replenish your soap. So if you finish your little shampoo, even when they clean the room, they don't replenish it. So now you get in the shower. You get in the shower, and you're in the shower. You want to do it's empty. So now you phone them. Problem is that no one fucking answers the phone ever. No one answers the phone at this hotel ever. It's the worst thing. You want a phone? You want to answer? You want them to answer the phone? They don't answer the fucking phones. 15 minutes, 18 minutes. They don't answer the phone. I'll tell you another story in this dump of a fucking hotel. Okay, see, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'll tell you the last story. So breakfast ends at 11. So I arrived there 10 to 11. The guy says, no, I can't seat you because. But I said, I phoned you guys. You said breakfast ends at 11. He said, yeah, but you have to order at 10:45. I was like, why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that? He's like, no, breakfast ends at 11. I said, well, look, I did try and call you guys, but nobody answered the fucking phone. Oh, well. No, trust me. Listen. Consensus was amazing. It was the best event I've ever been to. Unfucking believable. But the hotel, the Hilton Hotel in Austin is by far the worst hotel that I stayed in. And I wanted to move, but the problem is I've got my studio set up here and I've got my lights set up here, and it's bad. It's a pity. I love the Hilton Hotel. I'll never stay at a Hilton Hotel ever again. If you guys, today I'm fasting. Today I missed breakfast because I was on the stream. If you guys ever are in Austin, just stay somewhere else. There's amazing hotels. Don't stay at the Hilton. Anyway, this is not a hotel show. This is a crypto show. Love you guys madly. And again, I want to just thank the bandits, Craig and Jason, coming here on a Sunday. You guys are legends. You're really part of the family. I love you guys as part of the fam. Jimmy, you're wearing a shirt, bro.
I'm off today.
Yeah, love you guys madly. Thank you. I know it's Sunday and I know it's 9 o'clock at night, and I
Thanks
know
for
you
doing the
guys.
show, Ran. Great update. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Love you guys madly,
you.
madly. Alrighty, guys. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm having Gareth Soloway on my show, and I think Sheldon will be live. Maybe he would have finished playing golf by then. Maybe he would have finished at the 19th hole by then. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, remember, if you're ever offered to stay at a hotel in Austin called the Hilton, just say no. What a fun show.
Yeah, absolutely excellent.
Go on here, you, Craig.
I said excellent. Great show.
Yeah, it was good.
It was fun. Jay, you're very smart, bro. Your charts were fantastic. I love them, man.
You should have